Yeah.
So OD has been nerfed, buffed. He's been all over the place, really, and people seem to not really know where he is currently. And I believe right now he's uh, his the way you used to play him in the previous patch, that has not just been nerfed, but it's just been completely shut down. It's out. You can't do it
Yeah.
that way anymore. The range on Astral is actually horrible now. You can't keep putting people in Astral in the mid lane anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. So you can't play that way. Also, keeping in mind, keep in mind, if it's a melee hero that you're up against,
Yeah.
you can still do that. You can still max Astral. The only issue with Astral is the damage hasn't been nerfed. Obviously, the mana nothing else has been nerfed or buffed. Only the range has been changed. But
Yeah.
450 range is actually insanely small.
Yeah.
So
I know
you
this is the first time I played OD. It
yeah.
was yeah.
Yeah, so you can't do that anymore. So what you need to do is you need to go back to playing OD the way you used to play before the last patch, which was max out. You have Astral at level 1. That's
Yeah.
pretty much for self cast and maybe to get a blaster or something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you max out Essence Aura. You get Astral level 1, Essence Aura level 2, and then you get Arcane Orb level 3. And then you max out
Yeah.
your Essence Aura.
Yeah.
So level 7, you're going to be 1, 1, 4.
Yeah.
That's, no, you're not going to be 1, 1, 4. You're going to be 2, 1, 4 at level 7. 2 points in
Yeah. Yeah.
Arcane Orb, 1 point in Astral, and 4 point in Essence Aura. And then you can decide if you're actually getting enough right clicks, if you're actually able to, if your ult is going to be useful in the next, I don't know, minute or so. If you think it is going to be useful, go ahead and level it up. If you think it's not going to be useful, then don't level it up. But that's the build you need to go for. This way, the good thing about this way, playing this way, is that you actually have kill potential. You have a lot of kill potential. Sure, you don't have the early game harass and lane domination that you used to, but you have a lot of kill potential. Actually, the addition of the shrines makes it so that you can actually spam your mana a lot more, right? So pretty much by level 5, you'll have 3 points in Essence Aura, you'll have 1 point in Arcane Orb, you will have Brown Boots, and you will most likely have Bottle. If you uh, use all the Arcane Orbs on the mid laner, right? What is it? 160 mana. You have a base mana current of thank God, of about 500. So you can use your orb 5 times with the bottle as well, or maybe around 5 times. So you've used your arcane orb 5 times. You've stolen. This is horrible. 5 int, not a lot. Never mind.
Yep.
You need to get to level 2. You need to get to um, the second point in arcane orb. But let's say we're talking about 7 minutes in, right? Roughly around 7 minutes in, you've got 2 points in Arcane Orb, and you've got maxed out Essence Aura. You pretty much use Arcane Orb as much as you want, and then you go to the shrine and you get full mana. You know, and
Yeah.
then you proc even more and get even more Essence Aura because your mana pool is increased to a great degree. I mean, normally if you have treads, after 3 points in Essence Aura, you are usually not gonna run out of mana unless you've been really really unlucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
usually
just had
going.
a question because the patch before OD got the nerf to Arcane Orb, like when you used to max Arcane Orb like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I heard from someone that you should go boots first, so you can go and easily trade hits. Boots before bottle. Like, is that something you do still, or should you go bottle first?
The thing is, you're in the 3K bracket. You if you feel like there is an item or a ability to change of ability or something like that, which actually
Mm-hmm.
allows you to play, much more dominantly and works for you, it's important to know that it's not going to work in a higher bracket, and it's not always going to work in your bracket either. But if it works for you right now, then go for it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, generally, if you're up against a mid laner who is not gonna harass you too much, you can
Yeah.
go for a bot. Usually melee heroes or mid heroes without too much of a nuke or too much of a spammable nuke. I can't think of many, to be honest, because most mid laners will have
Mm-hmm.
a spammable nuke which they will, you know, abuse. I mean, maybe Windrunner
Mm-hmm.
won't harass you too much. Storm Spirit, until he gets his level 6, isn't going to do much to you. So you can go boots.
Yeah.
Definitely go boots first and completely wreck him in lane. In fact, I think Storm Spirit is a perfect example of going boots first. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Invoker, great example. He's not going to harass you too much. You can go boots first. Bat Rider,
Mm-hmm.
you have to go boots first. You may even want to start off with boots and stick as your first two items. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
starting items are not set in stone. Even right now, your starting items, you've got, you know, these are completely fine starting items. But
Yeah.
even these starting items, if you were up against a mid laner who was going to harass you from the get go, from level one, something like a Quap or a Lina, for example, then you
Yeah.
should have actually started off with a full set of tangos and then immediately ferried out a salve to yourself. Also, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that you didn't get a salve right now.
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna die pretty soon, and you messed up on the walking. Oh wow, okay, very far. Did not see that. So first off, let's go back where you lost health. You started losing health over here, like way long ago. You started losing health. Okay, here's where you started losing health. So normally, when you get your first 100 gold, you have to assess if you're gonna take harass more than 300 damage. If you feel like yes, you are gonna take more than 300 damage as harass, you need to ferry out
Yeah.
a bottle to your a healing salve to yourself ASAP. Um,
Yeah.
which is something that you should have done against the Tinker because he's gonna spam a lot of spells on you. He's got plenty of mana
Mm-hmm.
pool and he's got very low mana spells. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Second thing is this is where you took damage from the Tinker. Right now, plant a tree and eat it. You know, and you have pretty much all of this time, literally all of this time. At this point, you really, really needed to back off and eat a tree. This is
Yeah.
where you're actually taking harass from
Yeah.
two creeps, no reason at
Yeah.
all. This guy sees this opportunity and he goes in for the kill. Had he been slightly higher level, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he couldn't have been slightly higher level, but had he actually right clicked you a little bit before doing this, you
Yeah.
would have died. You guarantee would have died. If
Mm-hmm.
he chased you a little bit in as well, you would have died. And now you have to go all the way back to base, or you should go all the way back to base, heal up, and then you weren't even able to use all your mana. So
Yeah.
really, really bad. You lost your lane. You lost your early part of your lane because
Mm-hmm.
you did not eat a tango. You did not consider regen at all. You didn't set ferry out a salve. You didn't eat tango early, so you just lost an entire creep wave. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you're losing as far as last hits are concerned. Um, Okay, it's not that big a difference last hit wise, but I'm pretty sure XP wise, yeah, XP wise, there's a significant difference now, and that is a big issue. We don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
in the mid lane against somebody who is higher level than you because that is just setting up
Yeah.
for losing that lane,
Yeah.
and then you have to find alternative ways to farm inside. Missing last hits not really a great thing. Which server do you play on?
Mm-hmm. I play on Europe.
And what's your ping?
120 on a
That's
good
pretty.
day.
That's pretty high, and that's like another issue. You can't really expect to have really good last hits if you have high ping. So that's sad. But what are you gonna do? You know,
I mean, at
don't
this
they
point,
have?
I've gotten used to the ping. So I think if you
There's a,
put me on on a server with like very low ping, I might miss last hits because I'm not
yeah,
used to the.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't they have a Dubai server though? They have a Dubai server.
They have a Dubai server, but it's sad because once you get above 2.5k, you actually can't find ranked matches in Dubai because everyone is below 2.5k.
Really?
Yeah, I've tried. Like once I got close to 3k, I couldn't find a game in Dubai.
Hold on. This is pretty interesting.
I mean, maybe you can find a game, but I remember searching for about 10 minutes,
Okay.
15 minutes, and I just gave up after that.
Okay. Wow. 15 minutes. Legit. Okay. When was this?
Uh, this like this happened like a year ago when I got to like 2.5k on my main account. Like normally I play in Dubai, but then when I got close to 2.5k, I tried to find a game, couldn't find a game, and then I had to go in Europe.
I think you should try it now.
Yeah, but I think right now, I don't know, for some reason my ping on Dubai right now is, I mean, it's better than Europe. It's at 90, and Europe is 120. So perhaps it's worth it, but
Yeah, like
I
check
don't
it
know.
out. If I mean 90 and 120 isn't really a big difference, but
Yeah.
still. Anyway, carrying on. Right. So,
Hmm.
last hits wise, you're doing okay. The only thing is that when you actually go for a max astral build, you want to be stacking
Yeah.
camps. You want to be taking jungle
Yeah. Yeah.
camps. You know what you don't want to be doing is 629. You cleared up this camp, and then you're just gonna stand here, roam around, go around in circles, waste your time. This is not. This is something that you don't want to do, right? You have infinite mana now. Oh shit! You actually went for. Uh, okay, okay.
Yeah. This
I don't
is
like your build at all.
the
Um,
one with the 1 point at level 6.
yeah, no. What I don't like is first of all, you have a point in arcane orb. You don't need it. Secondly, you should try and max out Essence Aura first, so that you can actually spam it a lot more. Of course, we are not talking about this Tinker matchup. We're talking about when you're up against a melee hero, or if you're, for example, if you're up against something like I don't know, like there isn't really an impossible match. Okay, sniper. If you're up against a sniper, then you are not going to get much out of the lane. Then even
Yeah.
putting a point in, even maxing out arcane orb isn't a solution. You can't astral
Yeah.
him, you can't arcane orb him, you can't touch him, you can't farm as much either. So your only option is to max essence aura. Sorry, is to max astral imprisonment as your
Yeah.
first spell, which means at level 7 you're going to be 3 points in astral, and sorry, 4 points in astral and 3 points in essence. Right, so you're maxing this first, and all you're doing is nuking the creep wave every single time, going to the jungle, stacking camps, and coming back.
Hmm.
Um, so you took the
Actually, yeah, something I want to mention is last patch I kind of did that with stacking camps. I mean, I
yeah
didn't do it every game, but
yeah.
this patch, it's just like I'm not used to this at all. So I think the patch is really messing me up.
See, so at 29 seconds you took the you killed the creep wave. You could have gone
Yep.
over to this big camp. They respawn at the odd minute mark, right? So at 7 minutes
Yep.
they would have respawned, right? So you could
Hmm.
have stacked this, come all the way over here. You would have missed one creep, right? One creep,
Yeah.
40 gold. You would have missed 40 gold. You would have stacked
Yeah.
another 120 gold. So you would have traded 40
Yeah.
gold for 120 gold. And same
Yeah.
experience wise, you would have come here, you would have taken this again, spammed it a little bit with your astral, because at this point you more or less got infinite astral, right? So you would
Yeah.
have spammed it, and then you would have gone all the way back, and you would have used astral twice, cleared up this camp, and then you get back
Hmm.
here, and then you farm this creep wave, and then at 9 minutes in, close to 9 minutes, you can. stack this camp and do the same thing with this camp, and then you go. I mean, it, don't you don't want what you don't want to do is you don't want to stand around wasting your time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you go with this build, because the problem with this build is your farm is going to be not slow but marginal, but you have no kill potential. You have absolutely no kill potential on anybody. You can't contribute to fights, you can't do anything. So you need to maximize your gold and XP, and this is that tool. You have the tool to maximize gold and XP. If you actually go for max arcane orb, then you have no farm because you don't have any AoE spells. So,
Yeah.
but then you have kill potential, so you have to farm with kill potential. But if you don't get any kills, then you have no farm. So it's a trade-off. Very similar
Yeah.
to how Tinker is with laser rocket build or
Mm-hmm. Marshall. Yeah.
or yeah, March of the Machine build. So
Yeah.
like, look, you're just walking around left and right, left and right. You're not doing anything. So you could have gone to this creep camp and taken that stack out. Even if you weren't gonna stack it, you could have just killed the camp. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, what? Okay.
So basically, like, do you have any like mid specific tips? Like not OD specific, but like mid
Yeah.
specific.
Well,
So
these are mid
yeah,
specific picks.
yeah, I
Like
know. Oh,
any hero who has AoE spells, which most of your mid laners are gonna have. That's what you should be doing. If you
yeah,
are not able to get maximum potential out of the lane, right? Then this is what you should be doing. You should be stacking camps.
yeah,
You should be taking camps. You should be securing runes. Nuke the wave every single time. Nuke it and go and do these things. Do one of these
okay,
things. Any one of these things. If you run out of
okay,
HP, you run out of mana. First, go to the shrine.
yeah,
Communicate with your support or jungler or whatever. Hey man, I'm going to the shrine. You wanna, get? Well, actually, you don't need to talk. You can just alt click it, and it'll
yeah,
automatically say, I don't know, gather up to the shrine or something like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that. Kill steal. You could have dragged this over to here, and then these guys would have died as well. Maximum efficiency.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh, so do you have any tips when you're playing mid in a very unfavorable matchup, like when you're
what
against a Viper or a Razor or something?
once again, well, OD is actually one of the better heroes against Viper if you're maxing Arcane Orb because he's gonna try and uh, his toxin, nether toxin you, not nether toxin. What's the spell?
Poison attack, I think.
Poison attack. Yeah, he's gonna poison attack you, which is an orb effect, and you're gonna arcane orb him, which is an orb effect. But you do tons more damage to him, so he's not actually going to be able to stand it. Um, so you don't really have to worry about that. But if you are up
Mm-hmm.
against a better opponent, or if you messed up or something like that, then yeah, once again, exactly the same things. Go and stack camps. Go and take what do you call it? Camps. Clear out the wave as quickly as possible with your nuke, and then it's just
Yeah.
go and farm camps. One of the best things about this current um, map is that you can actually take out this hard camp without taking too much damage because you can literally just stand up here, 25% mischance high ground, perfect. You can just stand up
Mm-hmm.
there and kill
Yeah.
creep camps. Also,
And I,
you can stand up here, eat this tree, and stand up here, and then you don't even get attacked at all.
yeah,
Similarly, you stand up here, you have to eat two
yeah.
trees, but if you stand up here, you can farm this as
I'll be
well.
right back.
Um, as far as how you should, when you should go and take the camps, what the hell is that? Free camera. You should always first nuke out the wave, push out the wave, take the wave, and then go and take the camps. Another way to deal with hard matchups is to maintain your high ground. Like you just died here. This was the enemy's high ground. This is not, past this point in the river. Actually, not even past this point. Past the steps. The steps. on both sides, that's your side. This is more of middle ground. Is more of the neutral area. That the river is neutral area, right? So if you can maintain your high ground,
Yeah.
then you actually can deal with most difficult matchups. How you maintain your high ground, that's a bit of a tricky situation. Um, you mostly block every single creep wave. You block
Yeah.
creep waves. You make sure that the enemy, if the enemy is pulling, then you try to make sure that you pull them right back. You don't get a bigger creep advantage. The enemy doesn't get a creep advantage. You want to keep control of the lane. In fact, if you actually jump into any one of these high level games, any one of these high
Yeah.
level games, and you just watch, this is just make sure that it's like starting. Um, Watch the first 6 minutes of how these high level people how they play the first 6 minutes. Normally, what you will see is that they will try to maintain their high ground. If they lose the high ground advantage, then they will actually nuke out the wave and reset the creep equilibrium. And then they try to creep block again and try to maintain their high ground again. Of course, this is if they are the weaker ones in the lane. If they're the stronger ones in the lane, then they're actually the ones doing the harass, and they actually don't want the enemy to maintain high ground, and so they will try to basically screw up the enemy's high ground advantage as much as possible. I mean, this is quite high level. This is not something that you really need to be getting into in the 3K
Yeah.
bracket. So all you really need to
Hmm.
worry about is just make sure to stack camps and farm if your hero has the ability.
Yeah. What normally ends up happening is that we both go to lane, and if we assume that none of us are blocked, or we both blocked equal amounts, so the lane meet at the middle. Basically, both people draw aggro, and then the three melee creeps end up going to the range creep for either side,
I'm
and
not
that's
talking
what
about
ends.
the start. I'm not talking about minute zero. I'm
Oh,
talking about every single creep wave you have to block.
ah, okay.
You have to, if you don't block every single creep wave, then essentially the creep accuracy is going to shift towards one direction. Also, if you nuke down waves, then obviously you're going to lose high ground. Just like
Yeah.
this, you nuke down the wave, and now the creep wave is actually going to meet dead in the middle. But if you instead of again walking around in circles, if you'd gone back over here, of course, 13 minutes laning stage is over, but let's assume this was like 6 minutes in. Then you should have walked back, started blocking creeps, and then they would have next wave
Yeah.
would have met at your high ground. But really,
Yeah.
again, at this point, what you should have done is you should have been farming in the jungle at this point. It's not even
Yeah.
stacking now because you're a high enough level. Now you should just be farming in the jungle. Keep a TP as well. You don't have a TP. That's a really big issue right now. You should have a TP,
Hmm.
and pretty much at this point, when you have treads and you have max essence aura, you can just keep this at auto cast because you're not going to run out of mana. Now, not only do you have treads, into treads, and maxed essence aura, but you also have force staff. So you definitely do not need to worry about running out of mana. So you're really missing out your potential here, and you just used your ult when you didn't even steal enough mana at the moment. So not really a great idea to be honest. But yeah, and you died because you just stood in the march.
Yeah.
Yeah, that this would have been a dead pudge if. Okay, several things you did wrong here, actually. First off, you should have had a TP. If you'd had a TP, then you would have been farming here. You would have TP'd. You would have been standing somewhere around here hitting Pudge. Second thing is, okay, you tried to save your ally, but you did it the
Yeah.
wrong way. You should have astraled your ally, and then you should have been hitting Pudge with your right clicks. Or if you are gonna do this to Pudge, then you should be hitting this guy with your right clicks. And well, this guy should have stunned him as well. So I mean, they're not doing the right thing either. But that's besides the point. You could have at least gained three arcane, three int extra from from hitting that guy. If you gain 3 int extra, then you do that much more damage to the pudge with
Yeah.
your. What I want to see is okay. You did, yeah. I think you did, yeah. Okay, you did use 2 right clicks. So I'm pretty sure how much does Pudge have? 16 HP. So let's have a quick look, right? So if you hit this guy 3 times, there was 3 int more arcane orb, mana pool to damage 6%. 3 int more means 36. 36 mana, 36, 6% of 36 is, oh god, I'm not going to do this, 36 times 0.06, and that was that, 2 damage. 2 damage? Really? That is really low. 2 damage? There's no way it's 2 extra damage. Maybe it is. It's 3 int. It's not that much. Okay, maybe it's not that much. Yeah, Pudge might still have died. I mean, Pudge might still have suicided. But definitely this would have dealt a lot more damage. For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Level 1 Arcane Orb really is horrible. 6% change and all that stuff. Anyway. And then you died to the March of the Machines because you weren't aware of your
Yeah. So that
oh
was a pretty
yeah.
stupid death. But I thought that Void wasn't dead, so I wanted to like get one extra hit. But um, I
Yeah.
just died.
Yeah. Yeah, you are really struggling to choose your target and or go on a target. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, this fight. Let's go back. Let's go all the way back. Um, Not here. There we go. Okay, so before you get into a team fight or into a fight, you need to know who your primary targets are, and what you are, who you want to focus. That should be your main question. And what are the things that you want to prevent and avoid and make sure not doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So pretty much the biggest issue for you here is the void chrono, because that is the one
Yeah.
thing that is certain death for you, and you are not going to be able to deal damage, and it's all sorts of horrible. So whatever happens, you want to make sure you uh, if you don't see Void, then you want to
Yeah.
assume that Void might jump you any minute, which means you
Yeah.
want to make sure you don't clump together with your teammates. You want to keep some
Yeah.
distance between your teammates, and you want to try to be as far from your teammates as far from the team fight as possible. Obviously, while right
Yeah.
clicking. So as soon as the enemy team
Yeah.
starts coming close to you, or your teammates start coming close to you, you need to back off, because if the
Yeah.
Void jumps in, chronos you, you're dead. Second thing you
Right.
want to be, of course, afraid of is Pudge hooking you and ulting you, but you do have the Force Staff, so that's not as big an issue. Now, as far as your
Hmm.
target, your primary target is going to be Tinker. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Tinker is almost always going to be in the back lines. So you don't
Yeah.
mind, really, at this point in this team, hitting the Pudge, because you can stack up the Arcane Orb, and you deal quite a lot of damage to the Pudge, and also you
Hmm.
don't mind dealing damage to the Void. So
Yeah.
essentially, looking at this team fight, you don't really have a primary, secondary target. Um, there's
Yeah.
nobody that really stands out. There's not an Omni Knight that you should immediately imprison while you hit somebody else or kill Omni Knight, or there isn't really a Medusa or a Wraith King or anything really that stands out that you should target. Tinker is one
Hmm.
person that stands out, but the problem is, unless you have laser, you can't really kill Tinker. sorry, unless you have BKB, you can't really kill Tinker because he
Yeah.
has laser. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so your primary target is really whoever is in safe distance, and the biggest issue for you is positioning. Now you are in really, really horrible positioning right now. Your half of your team is here, half of your team is here.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are
Mm-hmm.
really spread out. So are they.
Yeah.
So are they. The half of their team is here and half of their team is here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you're in a vulnerable position, and
Yep.
look, you got two right clicks off on Void, and you haven't done anything so far. These guys are fighting here. They disengaged from there, and now they actually played this team fight better than you because they actually turned around and gathered up with the two people who were at the bottom. Void was separated before, he was up here, and now he's down
Yeah.
here, and he was there to get. He got there faster, so somewhat faster than you guys did. If you had been there
Mm-hmm.
with your Nikes at the begin with, you guys would have killed Pudge by now. Right, so where did
Yeah.
you take the majority of this? You have full HP right now. You take
Mm-hmm.
some damage from that guy. Okay, it was the rockets. And then you turn around here. That was also bad. I mean, you should have just kept coming around. Forced staff into. What did you just force them? I think you tried to save the lifestealer? Yeah, you tried to save the life. Okay, so you tried to save the life stealer there, but I
Yeah.
think he would have actually escaped anyway. He would have infested the this guy,
Mm-hmm.
the bounty hunter. So you
Yeah.
really didn't really need to do what you did. But if you just stood there, kept right clicking people down, Pudge was one more hit away from you killing him, and then you could have forced staff
Mm-hmm.
yourself later. I mean, it's just all about positioning. You should have,
Yeah.
instead of going around up here, you should have gone downwards. You should have seen where your team was positioned, and you're the core. You're not the tank. You need to be behind people,
Yeah.
behind your team. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. This is what you're doing. Um, All right, so you saw this guy, you astraled him,
Yeah.
you see another guy coming in, you backed off. Perfect. This is what you want to be doing. You don't want to be the front liner. You don't want the enemy
Yeah.
to focus you. And then who do you go on? You go on the closest target. Perfect. Even though this guy's stunned, you're hitting this guy. That's fine. You're gaining charges. You need to, not charges, stacks. You need
Yeah.
to gain stacks. See, now you focused on this guy. This was wrong. You should have kept hitting this guy. As soon as he gets his ult on, you astral him. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as you astral him, that's it. Nobody can damage him. And when he comes out of astral, he's gonna get damaged. Astral is, I
Yeah.
think this is 7 second, no, 4 secondary. So yeah, so he would have been damaged. I mean, you could have maybe waited a second and then, but it's fine. Um, okay, yeah, it's just a little bit late, but maybe it was on. That's fine. Now you right click this guy, and he's dead. So very well played this team fight. Um, you're not gonna get this one because you don't have the range anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So reason why I actually prefer Blink Dagger than Force Staff on OD by a huge margin.
Dude, on OD, my general build is Hurricane Pike into Rod of Atos, and then just see what I need from there. Like, yeah,
Why Rod of
just
Atos?
well, the reason I like Rod of Atos is number one, it allows me to like before when it used to do the slow, it allowed me to catch up to people, and it was extremely long range. And now, like the route is pretty much the same thing, allows me to get hits. But the thing is, the main reason is because the stats are really good. Like I like the stats. It gives me lots of HP and it gives me lots of damage with like the
Yeah,
thing.
but the thing is that Sheepstick is a far superior, and now is a different story. Before Sheepstick was a far superior item. Better stats, better use of the item. At the moment, the route is actually pretty fantastic. I haven't used it myself, so I don't know. In theory, it looks really good, so I don't want to say anything about it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But by far, sheepstick, you can't compare root to 3.5 second duration of sheep.
Yeah, yeah. So do you recommend going like Hurricane Pike, Blink Dagger, like getting both of those mobility items?
I
And
sometimes do. Sometimes I do get both of those items, but normally I will just have. I don't like Hurricane Pike so much. I find it to be a very situational item on OD. Um, but I think last game actually I did make both of these items, or not. Never mind. This was the carry OD. So yeah, last game I normally do like to go for a blink dagger first, pretty much exclusively
mhm.
blink dagger first, and four staff is normally I will make. So in this game I had hurricane pikes simply because of the clockwork. That's it. No,
Mhm.
what I would not have had a hurricane pike this game. Um, also another okay, I didn't want to. This game I had Hurricane Pike because I have no idea. I don't know why. I don't know why. Um,
Mhm.
maybe I was trying out something. Maybe I was trying something out because there will be usually a specific reason for having a Hurricane Pike. I normally will just go. Yeah, this is a very normal build of mine. Blink Dagger into normally a stat item, and then a stat item like drums or a
Is Drum still done on OT with the changes?
no, no, it's not. No, it's not. Only on the carry OD, it is, I guess, still okay. But even on carry
Mhm.
OD, I guess you kind of want to go for Hurricane Pike still. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know. I honestly don't know too much about drums right now. I've made it one game and it worked out really well. But the thing is, like, it's giving. It used to give 12 int. Now it's what 6 int. So I don't know.
yeah.
As far as your tree is concerned, you went with um, 250 mana. I don't think that's a good
Yeah.
idea because like mana is not an issue for you anymore. You
No,
know,
but like it increases Arcane Orb's damage, right? Because it's mana pool to
yeah,
damage.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Okay, let's check exactly how much damage you got from the 200 and what was it? 250. And literally, it's only damage. You're not actually benefiting um, from the 22 damage. That's all you got. You got 22 free damage from the 250 mana. But I think 10 movement speed should not have been underestimated because 10 movement speed could have been the difference between you escaping death or not escaping death. Or you getting away or chasing somebody. I mean, OD, he doesn't have bad movement speed by any means, but he
Yeah,
can always use better movement speed. I mean, the fact that literally the first item you build on this guy is a mobility item should really tell you how important
yeah,
mobility is for this guy. 360
yeah,
360 movement speed. Your 45 movement speed behind a tinker. Actually, you are one of the three. Yeah. You still there?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the slowest people in this game right now. So movement 10 extra movement speed, although it's not a lot, but I definitely think I would have chosen the 10 extra movement speed over the mana. As far as the next, yeah, definitely easy attack speed, easy attack speed. And then 15 int or 250 HP. This is very situational. I think in this particular game, I would have gone for the 250 HP just because the Tinker has insane amounts of burst damage, and if I get chronoed, that 250 HP could be the difference between me getting away and me dying. So I think this particular game, I definitely would have gone for the HP, and I think this plus 60 Arcane Orb Steel is hands down possibly one of the best level 25 skills, right up there with the triple arrow from Mirana and the puck speed. So you never ever go for anything other than the plus 60 seconds. I mean, how long do you have Arcane then? You have 80 seconds plus 60 seconds. You have like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's just insane.
I mean, I've heard from some, if you're playing a game that is more, the 8% is really good, like with the ultimate.
If you're doing what, sorry?
If you're playing a very burst heavy game, like if you just really need to burst someone down, the 8% is better.
Um, the thing is, 8% means um, means you do more damage on your sanity's eclipse. That's it, right? That's the only thing.
It doesn't increase like your arcane orb and
I
your astral.
I don't think so. Um, let's see. Where does it say spell amplification? 6.5%. So maybe it actually does. It does actually increase how much mana to damage is coming in. So yeah, it does. It does, which
Mm-hmm.
is a bit surprising. So 8% spell amplification would mean um, 8 no 0.08 times 9. 9 is 0.72 is so mediocre. Um,
Yeah.
right now you have, let's say, 2,000 times 2,000. So, what the hell just happened? What did I get? 0.72% divided by 100. Yeah, so 14. So if you pick this, then you're doing 14 extra damage, roughly 14 extra damage per hit. Of course, it's scaling, so like first hit maybe 14, next hit 15, next hit 16, something like that. Not really that much
Yeah.
scaling probably, but at the same time, if you look at the arcane orb, the plus 60 seconds, that means that if you don't die in this first team fight, and you
Mhm.
right click people down like 20 times and you have 20 in, then the next team fight that happens, you're still going to have that 20 in. That means that you can pretty much use Sanity's Eclipse as soon as the team fight happens. That
Yeah.
means you burn 40% of their mana immediately at the start of the team fight, and you do tons of damage to them at the start of the team fight. And then you can keep racking up more charges. So if you when we talk about bursting people down, honestly, I think the next time you actually throw Sanity's Eclipse, because you will have Arcanes or the Instolence for so much longer, you're gonna
Mhm.
have your Sanity's Eclipse is gonna deal so much more damage.
Yeah.
So I do think that the plus 60 is just hands down better. Forgot what we were talking about.
Um. Yeah, we were talking about like whether going max imprisonment or arcane orb, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just saying that if I go max arcane orb, I can't really farm the jungle that
No, you
much.
can't. No, you can't. But that's what you have to. Then you have to get kills. That's the thing. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can get lots of harass that way, and you can get. Actually, you can still farm because, as I said, at level 7, once you have maxed Essence Aura, by level 7, I'm pretty sure you'll have treads as well. Into treads,
Mm-hmm.
you won't really run out of mana unless you're extremely lucky. And when you are extremely lucky, you can just go to the shrine. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you look at this, you restore 25% of your mana, and there's a 40% chance to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So at level 7, if we quickly jump to your how much? Here we go. This is perfect. This is level 7. So you have 900 mana,
Yeah.
right? Your arcane orb costs. You know what? A weird thing.
Yeah.
This might be wrong because I think at level 1 did they change arcane orb? Because I believe this was at 160 from level 1. I think. Let me just quickly have a look at this OD because the one of the nerfs to him was ah hold on, this is very strange because now his arcane orb at level 1 is at 100 mana because if I remember correctly, his arcane orb was um, straight up 160 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have a quick look. I missed this. Huh. I guess I must have confused it with
So
something
like
else.
against a melee
Oh
mid
well.
laner, against a melee mid laner, would you
Yeah.
max prison or orb? Because like the range issue isn't really a problem
Yeah.
if he's melee.
Yeah,
So
yeah. If it's a melee, then you can max that astral. So coming back to what we were talking about, so if you have 900 mana, right? You
yeah,
use 40% means pretty much after maximum like 2 or 3 hits, you should
yeah,
refund 25% of your mana. That means if you
yeah,
right click twice, then you're at 700 mana, and most likely by the third time you're going to get 25% of your mana back, which at 900 is about 200, 250, which means that 200,
yeah,
about 250-ish, right? So
yeah,
you will actually get your entire mana back up. If you have at 50% Essence Aura, 50% Essence Aura means at 800 mana pool, you should be getting all your mana back. You should always be at max mana, roughly. You
yeah.
know, at when you have 800 mana at 50%, but you have 900 mana at 40%. So I think it sort of evens it out.
Mm-hmm.
So level 7 usually you really won't run, especially after you've got bottle as well. So yeah, you
Yeah.
really should not run out of mana.
Yep.
Don't feel you shouldn't use your bottle to refill your mana up. It's important if you run down to something like 500 mana. It's important to get that mana back and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you have your mana tap topped up. Anyway, so this game is over. Hope you got lots of mid laning lessons. And as I said
Yep.
earlier, if you keep um, checking my channel
Yeah.
for updates, or just subscribe to it and you'll get the updates. And I will
Mm-hmm.
be releasing the guides videos
Yeah.
pretty quickly. I have the content written down, so it shouldn't be
Yeah.
too long.
Because just as a recap, for mid lane,
Yeah,
you basically said that number one, you should try to take jungle camps a lot. Like you
yeah.
shouldn't underestimate the jungle.
This is only if you are not winning the lane straight up. If you are destroying your mid laner, then you really don't have to do anything. If you're getting lots of
Mm-hmm.
right last hits, if you're getting lots of denies. If you don't
Yeah.
need to do anything else, then don't do anything else. But if you feel
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I'm taking way too much damage just standing in this lane. I can't get last hits. My damage is, let's say you're up against an SF who actually got first blood. He's already starting
Mm-hmm.
off with 15, souls or whatever. There's no way you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna outlast him. Then
Mm-hmm.
jungle is the way for you to get your farm back.
Yeah, okay.
So it's
And
only when you're weaker.
and then you should like block the wave, try to maintain high ground.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
gonna
oh,
prevent you from dying. That's gonna prevent you
yeah.
from dying to ganks.
And one thing I always have an issue with is, I mean, okay, I have two issues. One of these is like a hero specific issue, and one of these is just a general issue.
Yeah.
So the general issue is when to gank versus when to farm as a mid laner.
So when you are playing farming mid laners like OD, you normally want to farm as much as possible. Um, Ganking, when you are a farming mid laner, then ganking really comes with, it's the lowest priority. But if you see the enemy diving one of your towers, and you know for a fact that if you TP in, you will not die, but you will
Yeah,
at the same time be able to contribute. So you might be
yeah,
able to save your ally, or you might be able to get a kill. Then go ahead and
yeah.
TP.
Okay,
But if a fight is happening far away from the point of TP, then you're not going to join the fight.
but
Also, if you
it's like
met
the opposite.
if
It's
you manage to get a good rune, for example, you get a haste rune. Let's say you got the bot rune. You went to the bot rune. It was a haste rune, and then you look at your bot lane, and you see the guy is like 1/4 of his HP or something like that. Then go ahead and go and get that kill, and you can TP back to your lane or whatever. But that's like those are pretty much the only two situations where a farming mid laner is going to go and gank.
with someone like a Pudge or like a Laser Rocket Tinker, it's like the opposite. Like you just want to gank,
Absolutely.
try to get a kill. Okay.
Absolutely. When it's a hero like a puck, for example, you want to wait. You want to try to wait to hit your power spike. For example, with a puck, it is when you get level 6, and then you want to
Yeah.
keep TP on you, and you want to gank as much as possible. Every time you get level 6, you want to gank, and even before you get your level 6, anytime you see an opportunity um, where the enemy is diving towers or things like that, you want to try and get that um, get a kill participation, get a participation in, and you want to try to get as much runes as possible. As a farming mid laner, runes aren't as important because you are generally going to miss a CS at least to get a rune, right? So if you're a farming mid laner, you don't want to miss that CS. So go for a bottle crow, or nuke down the wave before going to the rune. Even then, you're
Yeah.
most likely going to miss the one creep from the next creep wave. So Bottle Pro is your best friend when you are a farming mid laner because runes are unreliable and usually you're gonna miss CS for that. But when you've got a ganking mid laner, then runes you have to go for the rune because every time you get an invis, haste, double damage rune, that could potentially mean a kill opportunity. It doesn't mean if you're level 4. It doesn't matter if you're level 4 or 5. That could still be a kill opportunity. If you get an invis rune, you catch the enemy off by surprise. You can get a kill. That's your job as a ganking mid laner. So yeah,
Yeah, and the one hero specific question I had is, let's say you're against an alchemist and you're not like a dominating mid laner, like you're not someone like an OT or a
yeah,
Viper or someone.
yeah.
And
Well, who are you then?
the TA game, I was a TA, right? And
TA does
as a
dominate
yeah,
against him.
yeah, I, oh yeah, I guess she does, but like I said, I wasn't a good TA, so
Okay.
I didn't really take advantage of it in the sense that every time he would acid spray, I would stay in the acid spray and I would try to trade hits with him because like I would try to hit the creep so that the side blades hit him as well, and I like stayed in the acid spray. I didn't run out of the acid spray, and I
hmm
don't know if that was the right decision, but the thing is, the alchemist still got insane amounts of farm. Like I couldn't really shut him down. He got like a 6 minute armlet, and he
Um,
just snowballed from there.
6 minute omelette is pretty early, but the thing with TA versus Alchemist is that you are actually going to destroy him in the first 3 levels or 4 levels. But once he has level 2 acid spray, um, especially once he has level 3 acid spray, then there's pretty much nothing you can do. And you can't really slow his XP gain either. All he has to do is stay in that lane, and you can't really stop him from staying in that lane. I mean, you
Yeah.
can just prevent him from farming completely almost. Like you get against Alchemist, I usually actually go for the
Meld.
milled, yeah, because
Yeah.
your refraction is just going to burn out anyway. There's no point going for refraction. But if you get milled, you just completely every time he comes in for a last hit, you meld him, and yeah, then you the next two or three hits that you get on him, he's just gonna devastate him. So
Yeah.
that is one way you can like 2 points. You have 2 points in meld by level 3. It's gonna really seriously damage him. But after
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you can't really stop him from farming. There's no way you, as a TA, gonna stop Alchemist from farming. So you really need your team to come. Why did you go mid when the guy already had Timbersaw picked? The Timbersaw should have gone mid. I mean, you can't really go off lane, but I mean, you should have picked a different hero.
I mean, nah, the thing was the Timbers are first picked, and he like went off lane, and he made, and like he wrote in chat, please give me one word. I want to be solo or something like that,
Yeah, okay.
and then
I mean,
I
if he
just
wanted to be
assumed
solo, he
he
could
would.
have been solo mid, and then he would have actually
Yeah,
destroyed the Alchemist
yeah,
completely. But
yeah. I
it's
assume he
whatever.
could have gone mid, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He, okay,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.